I'm peachy. Thank you.
Hey, that's my line.
We're both peachy?
Always peachy.
This is an administrative hearing being held on December 8th, 2025 in the Kosciuszko County Courthouse. This hearing is being live streamed. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to the laws of the state of Indiana as found in IC 6-1.1-1-1. The parcel number is 43-03-25-100-257.000-027. The property address is EMS D13 Lane, Syracuse. The property owners are Harry and Lori Rockwell. The assessment year under appeal is 2025. Does everyone present agree the year under appeal is as stated?
Yes.
Yes.
My name is Sarah Schloss, and I represent the assessor, who is the secretary to the Property Tax Board of Appeals. The persons representing the PTABOA are
Brock Ostrom.
Mike Settles.
Bill Olinger, good morning.
the person representing the county is,
Kathy Strange.
the person representing the taxpayer is,
Lori Rockwell.
and are you the current property owner of the property?
I am, along with my husband, yes.
Will all persons who are or may be witnesses in this hearing please raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I do.
Okay, if you would like to tell the board about your property and the reason for your appeal.
Thank you for the opportunity to present my opinion in regard to why I feel our two lots taxed separately from our main property should be taxed much lower than the assessor has proposed. I'm not here to argue, accuse, or attempt to be taxed less than what the properties are worth. Yes, I have been a realtor for going on 25 years, owning my own company for the past 18 and a half years. However, I'm not here to try to prove I know more about property values, only to share my opinion on the value of the lots. Our two lots in question, Lot 7 and 8, west 100 feet, Carmel addition to Stewart Lake, across a private road from lakefront properties. The two lots are taxed together and total 1.19 acre per the assessor card and have nearly 300 feet of road frontage. This all sounds like the lot should be very appealing because of the location to the lakefront owners across the lane to purchase and construct an outbuilding. That is until you examine what the lots actually are. We have filed 2 appeals on these lots, one in 2023 and another this year. We also filed an appeal for error corrections to our home this year, one of which could potentially raise our property taxes higher than what we're currently paying for the 2 separate lots. This is not about the money charged. We simply want to be taxed fairly. Quoting from my letter attached to my appeal on June 13th for the 2 lots, I referred to them as one lot in the letter as they're taxed together. In 2023, we appealed the assessment on this lot after noticing it had risen from $7,500 to $62,300. The 2024 assessment was lowered to $28,800 after we provided the original survey, which I have in the packet, showing a retention pond on the north side of the lot, and a county GIS also attached shows the south side of the lots as wetlands. The following verbiage was added to the notes section of the assessor card. 6/15/23 memo. 2023 due to appeal, did site visit, gave -60 for retention pond on one side from plat and -10 for ditch on the other lot. Very wet and swampy. The value is now jumped again, even though it's basically unbuildable, which was the argument the assessor had, well, I'm quoting. So you had given for the assessment originally jumping from $7,500 to $62,300. In the past 30 years, we have owned this property. We've never been approached by anyone who owns lakefront along D13 with an interest in purchasing it. When the owners who subdivided the Carmel addition sold us this parcel, they divided lot 8 to keep the buildable portion for themselves and constructed a garage that still stands. If they felt at that time it was buildable and potentially valuable for other lakefront owners, I would venture to guess they would have kept the entirety of both lots 7 and 8. Also attached to our appeal was an aerial from the county GIS mapping from 2023 showing basically the entire lower section of the lots, the level portion, was dark, indicating it was wet at the time. I'm now also submitting the aerial photos from 2011 and 2016, also indicating the lower portion was wet. Between the county's dedicated wetlands shown on all of the county aerials and the retention pond shown in the 1989 survey, there's basically nowhere, in my opinion, to place an outbuilding. When we originally appealed in 2023, I was told by the assessor, Gail Chapman, that the reason the assessed value of the 2 lots rose from $6,500 to $62,300, which is in my calculation, a 1,204% increase, was because of the value they had to the lakefront owners across the street. I was told basically the same thing again in the email correspondence between Gail and myself in regard to this appeal. That's also attached. She also stated in her initial email that they had a land order last year that was mandated by the state of Indiana. I was not provided with how the mandate applies to our lots. The lots are not buildable, in my opinion, without several obstacles, which are: 1, the 1989 survey states lots 7 and 8, whoops, it's supposed to be 7 and 8, shall not be used or sold for residential building sites. However, these lots can have an accessory building placed on each. Again, lot 8 was split when the 2 lots were sold to us in 1989, so that the owner could build a garage on the half not affected by the retention pond. Since there is 1 accessory building on lot 8, even though they were split, as the survey reads, there could be an issue with building if someone wanted to add another. With the wetlands and retention pond, this is number 2. With the wetlands and retention pond, someone would most likely need to deal with the DNR and zoning to request filling enough to build. As far as I know, that would be nearly impossible, especially the retention pond, as it was intended to store rainwater coming down our ravine to help keep the properties above the lane and lakefront properties from flooding. The lots are also heavily wooded, and there would be added expense of having them removed to build. Also, the frontage of both lots border a private lane, which could potentially require the lane owner's permission to add new driveways. And lastly, if the argument for the higher value is solely based on the value to lakefront owners for outbuildings, the zoning board changed their rules many years ago since our 1989 survey, that you cannot build an outbuilding on a vacant lot without a residence unless you obtain a variance. Because our survey states no residence can be built on either lot, someone would have to obtain a variance to do so. Our main disagreement for the higher value is with the assessments being valued on ifs and maybes, not on what the lots actually are now. Of course, anything's possible, but why should taxpayers be taxed for something that may never happen? In our opinion, these lots, as they currently stand, are useless and unbuildable. As a realtor, I can see this as a very slippery slope when valuing properties. As an example, our basement's unfinished and taxed as such, but at any time we could finish it, raising the value of our home substantially. Should we be taxed now for a finished basement just because it's a possibility for someone to do in the future? In my opinion, no reputable appraiser or realtor would ever value a property based on what it could potentially be, only on what it is at the time of the valuation. Granted, location is a huge factor in real estate. However, so is current condition. I do not begin to understand all the factors that the assessor's office uses to determine their assessed values, but would love to attend a class on it if one was offered. It appears they use $63,632 as the EXT value, which I guess is the extrinsic value for half lot 8, and $129,456 for lot 7. Then in INFL percentage, which I assume to be inflation percentage, used to adjust the extrinsic value to the taxed value. Why anyone would come near to valuing these lots to start with at these amounts is a mystery to me. In one email from Gail, she said, our office inspected your lots last year when you appealed. One lot has 95% off and the other lot has 45% off. Again, I don't begin to understand this, but in my ignorance, I perceive this as I stated in my last email to Gail, that telling me what the discounts are on the assessments as an enticement holds no weight to my opinion of if the original assessment is extremely overinflated. I would compare that to a retailer inflating merchandise pricing and then giving a discount, and the price is still higher than what it's worth. Gail also told me in one of her emails, you will have to bring evidence of market value for your lots, not what your neighbors are being assessed at. This was said after I pointed out a neighbor's property in my appeal letter that is taxed much lower. It includes a buildable lot and an off-water lot on the same lane. This also makes no sense to me. If there's a property that is obviously worth more and assessed less, why should we not be able to use that as an assessment appeal? The assessor's office may present several vacant lots in Happy Landing near Chapman Lake in their list of comparables, along with many off-water properties that sold for much more. I do not believe that anything that is buildable when purchased without needing a variance should be used as a comparable without hugely adjusting for this. As I stated on my last email to Gail, to my knowledge, there are no off-water sales in the past year that compare to the condition of our lots. Gail also stated in her final email to me, if you want to fight the unbuildable issue, I will be glad to give you what we call all unbuildable lots, what we give all unbuildable lots across the board for being unbuildable, which is 50% off. I can remove all the other influences that we have given you. I'm pretty sure you would like that value even less. This also makes no sense to me, as her entire premise for initially raising our tax amount over 1,204% was because of the potential value to the lakefront properties across the lane to build on. In my line of work, I suspect it would be next to impossible to sell someone on spending anywhere near the $30,300 Gail offered to come down to on a property that the assessor has deemed very wet and swampy. As I understand it, assessed values are determined based on market value. My opinion of value based on the three comps I have presented is approximately $15,000. Earlier in the year, I received a list of 2024 vacant land sales in the county from the assessor's office for comps in my business and have included a copy. They list 2 lots off water, Tippecanoe Lake, on EMS T45 lane that sold for $15,000 a piece that I would have included as well, but cannot find them on the county website as the parcel numbers no longer exist, indicating they were combined into a different number. I couldn't find anything on T45 that might have been the lots. My 3 comps are also not great comps and mostly older than 1 year, but again, I just don't believe there are any good ones. All info is from the county records. Would you like me to go through the 3 comparables, or?
That's entirely up to you.
The
You can
first
paraphrase or read it all, or
Okay.
whatever you want to do.
Thank you. The first one was on an off water on Irish Lake on EMS B40A lane. It's a 0.94 acre lot across the street from Irish Lakefront properties purchased by lakefront owners, appears to be flat and buildable. Beacon shows the lot sold August 30th of 24 for $20,000, currently assessed at $24,600. The second one is 30 EMS W26 lane North Webster off water Webster Lake. That one is 0.4 acre, appears buildable, not wooded, not in a floodplain or wetlands, and previously had a mobile home. Beacon shows the lot sold October 31st of 2024 for $16,000. Much less land than ours, however, in my opinion, would be much more desirable for building an outbuilding to a lakefront or channelfront property owner. And I assume it to be connected to public sewer. Currently assessed at $43,300. And then the last one is actually on the same road we live on, East 1000 North in Redmond Park, which gives public access to the lake. It's only a 0.17 acre, partially wooded when it was purchased. It's level, not in a floodplain or wetlands. MLS and Beacon show to have sold November 4th of 24, excuse me, for $10,500. Much less land, but close to Dewart Lake. it's deemed an off-water property, currently assessed at $28,600. Thank you again for allowing me the time to present my opinion. I truly appreciate the opportunity, and I've included copies of everything in your packet.
Thank you, Mrs. Rockwell. I have no questions
No
at this time.
questions.
I have no question.
County?
I give you Exhibit A is the original plat that came with those lots. And it shows the retention pond that is held out on lot 7 and 8. The second one is a survey, that was never, I don't believe, ever recorded. And it shows the split of the lot number 8. It states lots number 7 and 8 shall not be used or sold for residential building sites. However, these lots can have one accessory building placed on each. One half of lot 8 does have a garage on it, but once they split that, I do not know how that would pertain to the buildable side of the other half. I asked Matt about it, and he believes because they own the adjoining lots, both of those lots, 8 and part of lot 8, or part of lot 8 and lot 7 are buildable sites. And would be probably approved because of the variance of owning the adjoining lots behind it. Exhibit B is the emails between Gail and Lori on the appeal back and forth regarding the increase in the value and all that was provided by Gail. Exhibit C is the Form 134, the 134 that was settled in 2023. See the notes from 23 and 25 off the property record card. Those changes are still in play. So whatever we give her, whatever we gave in 2023, it's still on the card. We've not taken it away. They got a minus 35% for excess frontage, and they got a minus 60% for the retention pond on the one lot. On the second lot, it was minus 60 for retention pond. I'm sorry, minus 35 on the excess frontage and minus 10 on the ditch. So those are still in play. We have not changed them from what was agreed upon on the 134 that she signed. The only thing that changed was the land order that was done. This is mandated to be done once every 4 years, and that's what changed the base rate. Exhibit D is the actual land sales. This is the land order that was done. This is showing the base rate of $575. The extraction method was 1,017. The vacant land sales was 688. And the PTABOA board voted on 575. Less than both that were indicated. The sales are attached on there. Exhibit E, I drew out the retention pond on the map, so you can see where it lies on the lot 7 and lot 8. The second is the 35 feet setback for buildable. And the blue area is the DNR wetlands. So you can see it goes up a little bit. On the third page is the measurements from the DNR wetlands to the retention pond. In the smallest area is 66 feet. The largest is 106, and that's on the side. It goes from 106 on the, it would be the southeast side, to 93 to 66 and then to 75 feet. That's all the area within the retention pond and the wetlands that would be deemed buildable area. The next page is in the turquoise is the flood zone, and they do not fall within the flood zone. F is a newer 2025 sale of a property that is on the secondary road and would not sell quite like those directly across from the lake lots. But you can see what they sold for, and I believe they are smaller in size. And again, we have still given all the restrictions that we gave in 2024 from her original appeal. They're still in play. We didn't change that. The only thing that changed was the base rate, and that was from the land order. The assessor offered a value of what it was in 2024, what Lori had signed to agree upon, which was 28.8. I'm sorry, in 23. She signed an appeal form of 1/3, or on the 134, she signed and agreed to the value of 28.8, and that was in 23. 24, she didn't appeal the value. And Gail offered the 28.8 again.
She did
She
offer,
did offer,
offer 28.8 to the petitioner.
correct.
What date was that?
It was in the email that I gave you. Also in our letter, we pointed out another copy. I believe it is on. Was it in the email? 30,000. She originally offered, I am willing to offer you 30,300 for both lots. That is just 400 more than the settled amount for the 2023 appeal. She said 24, but it's actually a 23 appeal. She said, let me know if this is acceptable to you and I will send you a settlement agreement. That was on October the 3rd, 2025. That's
What was that
page
figure again?
So it wasn't
She's-
20.
it
But
wasn't-
2028 was 20, I mean,
23 was
28.8 was
28.8
20,
that
yeah.
she agreed upon. And
Okay.
the offer that Gail gave her was 30,300. Sorry, she told me wrong.
Okay, so Gail offered, say the amount again.
30,300 for both lots for total.
And this was in an email.
Correct. October.
A follow-up question then. Is that figure still on the table?
It's still on the table.
A follow-up question, Lori, if I may use your first name. Are you
Absolutely.
willing to accept that?
I'm really not. And again, it's not about the money. It's obviously not very much money for the taxes. But I just don't believe it's worth that. She's showing in the one aerial, you know, the amount, the part that's buildable. You can see that it's wet in that aerial. Whether or not it's deemed part of the retention pond or not, it's wet. Unless we have a drought, there's normally water down there all the time. And I also spoke with Matt Sandy, and he did not indicate to me that the lots were buildable. I would like, you know, if you can possibly contact him, if he could even do a site visit over there. You know, they say it's wet and swampy, but yet you can build an outbuilding. Yeah, no,
Okay, I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
absolutely.
at.
Thank you, though.
Kathy, I hope I'm not being redundant, but could you explain the influence factor on the land?
Sure. 60% on the lot 7 is for the retention pond. And that's what we give across the board to anybody that has a retention pond on their property. So they're getting a minus 60%, and then they get a minus 35% for excess frontage. meaning they own more than what the typical lot size is. So they're getting a minus 35 for the excess frontage. The other one is getting the minus 35% for excess frontage, but it's getting a minus 10 for a ditch. There is a ditch in the front of that lot that runs down through there. We did see that when we were out there looking at it. I believe that these lots maybe increase back to the house. Does your house set up higher?
Quite a
And
bit,
It goes
like
up a hill a
400
little
feet
bit?
up. Yeah, there's a, as I said, there's a ravine that we own that runs right next to our home.
Yeah.
that The rainwater goes down to the retention pond.
And I believe that the garage next to these lots has a culvert in the front of it to get access to their garage. They put a culvert
Yes, they
under
did.
there to take the ravine through, the running water through.
I would like to, if I can, the one, tax records that she's presenting, the Marlowe property, on D18B, I actually listed and sold those two lots. They are two lots that have deeded here, channel front pier space access. So I don't feel that those have any bearing on our lots because ours do not have any lake access whatsoever. And just a side note too, yes, I did sign in 2023, for the 28, what was it, 28-8? Only because I didn't have the time to prepare and do a hearing that year. I was extremely busy with work and I just basically gave up and said, okay.
Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I have nothing.
Do you have anything further?
Can't think of anything at the moment.
Did you appeal in 2024?
No, I did not.
The proceedings are now concluded. The cause is adjourned until further order. The PTABOA may inspect the subject property and consider the evidence presented or requested. No additional evidence will be accepted for consideration unless that evidence has been requested during the hearing held today. As soon as we can, we will mail you a Form 115 to let you know the board's decision. If you disagree with that decision, you have the right to file a Form 131 with the state. This hearing is adjourned. Thank you for coming in.
Sorry, I didn't hear the date. What, did you give a date?
No.
Oh,
No.
oh, okay.
You'll
So
receive
as-
a 115 in the mail.
Oh, okay.
And then if you don't agree with that, you have the right to file a 131 with the state.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Thank
And
you.
you have a time frame within that to
Okay.
file at the state.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.